Hello everyone and welcome to a truly spectacular Armageddon game from round 6 of the 2022 Norway Chess. It's Wesley versus Aryan Tari, and this game features a move that is just incredible. It's not okay. It's maybe not Nejmedino versus Chernikov type of move, or maybe on that level of craziness, but you guys will simply love this one. So let's dive straight into it. Wesley has the white pieces and he opens with c4. He tries the English in Armageddon. We have e6, knight to c3, d5, d4, transposing into the queen's gambit declined, and now c5. Tari goes for the Tarrasch defense, c captures on d5, and now if you want to get more chances, I guess you play c captures on d4, but this is Armageddon. Black only needs a draw to win the game, so e captures on d5. This is the more solid and I believe by far the most analyzed line. Knight to f3 and now knight to c6, and now g3, the so-called Schlechter-Rubinstein system. We have knight to f6 and bishop to g2. Both players just develop their pieces to optimal squares. We have captures, a trade in the center, captures, and now bishop to c5, putting pressure on the knight, so knight b3, putting pressure on the bishop to b6, and now knight captures on d5. Wesley grabs a pawn, but it will be black who will be up in development, as you'll see. So bishop to e6, now threatening and not threatening, but yeah, basically threatening to win the knight. It's attacked 3 times, so you have to do something about this. Wesley defends it, and now bishop to g4, attacking the queen. And here there are a couple of moves that are known in this position, like f3 is a known move, bishop to f3 is a known move, so just countering the light square bishop, and also queen to d3 is a known move. However, the move Wesley plays is a new one. He plays queen to d2, and it is now, as of move 12, that we have a completely new game. Knight captures on d5 by Tari, e captures on d5, and now queen to e7 with check. And you can see that black really doesn't have any problems playing this. We have king to f1 and now queenside castles, making it impossible for d captures on c6, as the queen on d2 is hanging, or so you would think. Wesley plays h3, challenges the bishop, creates a little more room here for the king, so you can maybe play king to g1, king h2 in the future, bishop to f5, and now the move you have to play here as white is queen to f4. This is the strongest continuation for white. However, if this move was played, it is very hard to say if the game would be as exciting as it was, because here Wesley played d captures on c6, a move that seems impossible because the queen is hanging on d2, but he plays it nonetheless. The problem is, as great as this move is, and it's really a beautiful one to see, and it's I believe it's an amazing feeling to play such a move in such a strong tournament against such a strong player. The problem is it completely blunders the game. However, it's not clear why. So feel free to pause the video and punish this queen offering while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on realizing that the white queen does not have access to the d1 square. That's the key to realize in order to solve this position. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, the correct move is b captures on c6. That's the move. And if Tari had found this b captures on c6 idea, we would see resigns on the spot. There is no way to continue the game, because once the queen moves, let's say queen f4, we just deliver checkmate. Rook to d1 is checkmate. And the queen cannot keep an eye on the d1 square. You can't play queen to e2, because if queen to e2, okay, now you do cover it, but bishop d3 wins the queen for a bishop, which isn't all that great. And of course, you can't go here. c2 is covered by the bishop. This is resigns. However, Wesley managed to completely confuse Tari by playing d captures on c6, and Tari accepted the queen. And this now gives Wesley a whole lot of counterplay. He plays c captures on b7, now already getting a passed pawn on b7 as it's defended by the bishop, king to b8, and now we have bishop captures on d2 with the terrible threat of bishop to f4. So you have to do something about this. So a6, giving a little bit of breathing room to the king, but the actual, okay, this makes sense. You have to do this, but again, the correct idea was bishop to e4. You just block the bishop's defense of the b7 pawn, trade the light square bishops, capture the pawn, and then you are perfectly fine and much better at that. So instead, after bishop captures on d2, a6 was played, but now it is finally Wesley who is who is better in this game. Rook to e1. With tempo, the queen is attacked, and now bishop to e4 is no longer an option. So we have queen to f6, king to g1. Now Wesley wants to bring the king to h2 and bring this rook into the game as well. And you don't really have any bishop captures on f2 action here, because after king captures, there's just not a good discovery to be made. So instead, after king g1, bishop to e6, now threatening to capture here, but just king h2, not even trying to defend the f2 pawn with bishop to f4 check, so just king h2. Bishop captures on f2 would be a mistake, because now bishop to f4 check, king a7, and rook h to f1, you lose the bishop, or you move the bishop, and then bishop to b8 check picks up the queen, or pretty much anything wins the game here for white. So instead, after king h2, king a7, Tari now tries to hide the king from the dark square bishop. Now bishop c3, attacking the queen, grabbing more space here. Queen captures on f2, and now rook h to f1. Wesley fully mobilizes his forces. We have queen to c2, and now knight to d4, attacking the queen. So here you trade, otherwise it's just a terrible position. There's really not all that much you can play. Knight captures on e6 is coming. Even maybe knight to c6 check in some lines, trying to get some discoveries on the king if the queen moves to a silly square. But okay, bishop captures. We have bishop captures, and now a king to b8. Bishop to e5 check. The position repeats a few times. Bishop d4, king to b8, and now Wesley decides to go for rook captures on e6. There are many winning lines here. This one is just very nice. F captures, and now bishop to e5 check. Again, we repeat a few times. Bishop d4, king to b8, and now bishop captures on g7. Seems like a silly time to just grab a pawn, but this is the way to do it. So here, rook to e8, and now bishop to e5 with check. It's just grabbing an extra pawn. There's no danger here for white. So king to a7. Now we repeat again. Bishop d4 check, king to b8, bishop to e5 check, king to a7, and now comes rook to f7. And this is also winning, but just for fun, I will show you a really cool line, or even better, you show me a really cool line. Feel free to pause the video and try to find the coolest way possible to win this for Wesley while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on being a true master of tactics. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is b8 queen or a rook, doesn't really matter, but it's cooler to bring a queen into the game as it comes with tempo. And now after rook captures, we just play bishop to d4 with check, and the king has no squares. That's the good stuff. And now, okay, you could block with the queen, but that's just winning. But if rook to b6, which seems like, okay, maybe you can survive this, rook f8, and there's no defense against the rook to a8 checkmate. So if you found this, you have a really good skill, I would say, at solving tactics, because this was not an easy one to spot right away. So instead, rook to f7. Wesley doesn't have to find this. If this was the only winning line, of course Wesley would find it, but as every move is a winning, you just have to win. Gain points in the tournament. So king to b6, now comes b8 with queen, rook captures, and bishop captures. Now white is just up too much material, so of course black will try. We have a5, bishop back to e5, and now pawn to a4, rook to b7 with check, and now king to a6. We have a3, and now queen to e2. Going after the bishop, but just bishop d4, e5 attacking the bishop, and now rook to e7. Now, of course, you cannot capture as the queen would hang, so h5, and here rook to e6 check, and it was in this position on move 43 that Aryan Tari resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. All of the squares here are covered. Your only two squares are b5 and a5, and if king to b5 or king to a5, rook captures on e5 with check, we'll just pick up the queen, and of course now it's two bishops for nothing, completely winning for Wesley. So really a remarkable game, a remarkable move by Wesley. This d captures on c6, such a spectacular spectacular move to make. And of course, if you are on the receiving end of this d captures and c6 idea, and your opponent is Wesley, so you look at that move and you're like, yeah, okay, I missed that, obviously, my bad. But without even thinking that a silly move like b captures and c6 and white resigns is just incredible, and also one of the reasons why chess is the greatest the game ever invented. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's check out the standings after round 6, so you guys are updated. So Magnus is now leading the tournament as he won his classical game, whereas Anand won the Armageddon game against Anish. Wesley with 10 points. With 8.5, we have Maxim Vashilagram and Shahriar Mamedera. With 8, Anish Giri. Aryan Tari with 7. Wesley and Topalov with 6. Van Kao with 4. And Timur Rajabov with 4 points. So those are the current standings. That's the standings as well. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I would like to thank Raymond Young, Seda Simmons, Evalia and Lego, Charles Huff and David Kimura for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of this spectacular event, hoping that more games like this will take place. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.